I got this Sony ZV-E1 a couple of months ago, and I've been using it in my day job and also from time to time in my personal projects. So after all of these months, what do I think about the Sony ZV-E1? Is it possible to use this little camera in a professional environment? Sony markets this as the perfect video camera for content creation, you know, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all of that. But I wanted to get this camera just because I needed a B camera for my A7S III. So let's just get this behemoth in here. I have this fully rigged out with top handle and side handle, so you can see the difference in size here right off the bat. The cool thing about this little camera is that it got the exact same sensor that's inside the A7S III and also the Sony FX3. That is why this is the most cheapest B camera you can get to fit inside your workflow if you already have the FX3, or in my case, the Sony A7S III. When you're using these two cameras, you will have no problem at all matching the colors just because they're using the exact same sensor. I've noticed that whenever I go out to film something, you know, whether it's B-roll or any other kind of shorter content, I rather choose this little camera just because of the size and the lighter weight. But with a smaller and lighter camera, there are some drawbacks. And the first one is that if you put a big lens on here, you will find that there's no grip for your pinky finger. And that is why I bought this base plate, just to extend the handle on the side here just a little bit so I can, you know, comfortably hold this camera whenever I'm using my bigger lenses like the super zoom from Tamron. And whenever you're dealing with a lighter camera, unfortunately, it will be more prone to vibrations and shakiness in the footage. A heavier camera like the Sony A7S III here will be inherently much more stable just because of the weight. There are some new stabilization modes in this camera, but I've not been really using it because it really crops into the sensor just a little bit too much for my taste. One thing that I thought would be a huge problem for me was the lack of buttons on this camera, because I was so accustomed to all of the function wheels and function buttons on the Sony A7S III. But I was surprised that it wasn't that big of a deal, because there are some workarounds you can do here inside of the Sony ZV-E1. For example, you can set up your custom modes and then recall them quickly just by using your thumb here. That is actually quicker to do here on the ZV-E1. Instead, on the Sony A7S III, you have to let go of the side handle and reach for the top function button to change the custom mode. But with this camera, I can do that with just my thumb, with never letting go of the side handle. And just 4 or 5 clicks away, I can change to whatever mode I want. And when it comes to the function wheels, Sony has this feature called My Dials that enables you to switch the function of these wheels you have available. So with the click of a button, I can change what these wheels are controlling. So I can go from, let's say, ISO to iris, or maybe from white balance to shutter speed. And that is a really nice way to work around that you don't have as much dials compared to the Sony A7S III. Because of the smaller body, the Sony ZV-E1 is also unfortunately prone to overheating. I did my own test here in the summer. I put this camera on a tripod and recorded in 4K 25p, and I could do that for about 30 minutes, and then this camera died from overheating. But there is a workaround for this as well. If you get one of these fans here, this one is from Ulanzi, and attach this fan to the back of the camera like this. Now this fan will cool the camera so that you can record for much longer time. And for me, at least here in Sweden, we know it's pretty cold here in Sweden, but I could record it indefinitely. My battery actually died before it overheated, so this was a nice surprise that this little fan could do such big difference. But a word of caution, this is my results, and you know, if you live in a warmer climate, this little fan might not help so much. You will still maybe get this little camera to overheat, so you have to try it out for yourself. Let's try to sum this video up. So, would I recommend the Sony ZV-E1 for professional work? Well, it depends. If you know that you're only going to film shorter segments and never do any longer takes, I think that this camera can serve you pretty well. Also, this camera is perfect to put on a gimbal just because of the size and weight. And if you're using the kit lens, I mean, this is such a tiny little package that is perfect for gimbal work. And you don't have to worry about killing your arm or wrist or your back when you're running around with a gimbal with a camera in this size. But I would never bring this camera as my only camera to like a presentation, you know, over a couple of hours, or a critical interview and having the camera die on me. And also, I would not use this on a live stream as well, just because it seems like when you hook this up to the USB-C, it gets even hotter because it's also charging while delivering the image to your computer. Okay friends, that was all I have for now. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will see you in the next one. Bye!